What's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 67 of the 214 Sports Show, the Jacob Latz episode. Bit of an odd one with the number 67, not too much help we've had, but we're going to
Best
go with
possible
Jacob
outcome.
Latz here in the 214 Sports Show. Thanks for joining us again. I'm Joseph Duffy, and as always, I'm joined alongside TJ Krowitz. How you doing, TJ?
Doing good. Exciting last week at Dallas Sports, Joseph. And I want to wish you congratulations on graduating
Appreciate it, man.
University of Texas.
It's, it's been a
Let
whirlwind
me
of a
just cover
weekend.
this up, all right? Just cover.
Act like that's not there, of course. Yeah, but man, it's been a crazy, hectic weekend. I feel like I just was a freshman, just trying to walk the campus in orientation, but it's over just like that. And, you know, it's been a great journey. Got to meet a lot of great people, such as yourself and many other folks in our sports org and TCV Sports. And without that, we wouldn't be able to
Shout
start
out TSTV.
this podcast, 214 Sports Show, episode 67. Going to talk about, of course, the Stars going crazy in the playoffs, up 3-1 against Winnipeg, an unexpected Hattie. What in the world happened in the draft lottery with the Dallas Mavericks? A lot of accusations of it being rigged. Who knows? The Texas Rangers, winners of two straight series against Detroit and then against the lowly Colorado Rockies, and then the Dallas Cowboys. Schedule leaks are finally starting to get out. It's that time of year. The Cowboys will open the season in Philadelphia and will play the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. Also, will play the Washington Commanders in the noon slate on Christmas game day. So, crazy stacked agenda here for tonight's show or this evening's show, whenever you're
Absolutely.
watching. We'll start with the Dallas Stars, TJ. Mikhail Granlund hat trick, leading the Stars to a 3-1 series lead against the number one team in the Western Conference, the Winnipeg Jets. The Stars lead 3-1 after a great victory in Dallas at the American Airlines Center. Can the Stars team finish this Jets team off? Is it far from over, or is it pretty much wrapped up the way you saw it last night?
I think
Dangerous
it's
question,
far
I
from
know.
over, Joe, man. These Jets are still a really good team, and quite frankly, they played pretty well last night. I did not think that we were going to come out on top until, of course, Granlund hit that hat trick. Then I felt a little confident because two-goal lead in the third period. What's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? Totally. Um, but I mean, what a performance by Mikal Granlund. Beat him, I think, on the glove side, top side of the goal, every time, all three goals. Great performance by Mikal Granlund. Shout out to Miro Heiskanen for finally coming back. Big return there. He had a point with one of the assists, the last power play goal. Filthy goal or filthy pass to Mikal Granlund. Granlund just slotted it on the right circle and dotted it right at the top right corner against Hellebuck and made it a 3-1 game. But having Heiskanen back is going to be so huge. Um, I think the um, I think the change of lines was an interesting combination too. I think that maybe might have confused Winnipeg a little bit, putting a different power play unit out there at the first time. I think that might have helped Mikal Granlund as well, because he's been a little silent with the first line originally with Mikko Rantanen and Rupe Hintz. But of course, that line has been absolutely dominant regardless. But changing it up, making the power play unit a little different, which is kind of it was interesting. It was interesting, but it worked out. But shout out, man. Cal Granlund showed up, got us some goals. I think he had 20 goals on the year. Only, I believe, one, if not any, goals before this game. Finally making his name worthy on the Stars, making a name for himself. Shout out. But this series is far from over. It's the Jets are a very good team. They have the best goalie in the league for a reason. I get that we are all chanting Otter's better at the game yesterday, but or I guess Tuesday, sorry. Um, but Hellebuck was the starting U.S. goalie for a reason, and he is going to be the Veneza Trophy winner probably again. Um, so playoff mode, I get that he's a little different, but I mean, it takes just one game to get his confidence back. I know it could be one game in Dallas because he's already shut us out in Winnipeg. He just needs to find his groove in Dallas in game six. That could easily happen. And we're going back to game seven with again playing against the best goalie in the league in their hometown. So You got to really finish this out in five. It's extremely unlikely for the Stars to win 3 games in a row against the Winnipeg Jets, but it's doable. And that's what they probably have to do because I'm scared to come back to Dallas for game 6.
Yeah, you have to think that the President's Trophy winners have something else in store, and they're not going to go out without a fight. Jason Robertson also had his first point of the playoffs as well. But you talk about, Ottinger and the goalie battle. He's on quite the tear as well himself in this
Absolutely.
goalie comparison. He had a post yesterday that popped off on Twitter. Of course, that was awesome to see, and a lot of likes and reposts off that one. Thank you for those who did. But you talk about Jake Ottinger's past year, especially in the playoffs. You talked about a year ago, he had that great performance as well. But just this postseason alone, can you talk about like what makes him stand out specifically to you so far in this specific playoff run?
Um, I mean, he's just making those big stops that you need goalies to make. He's let a few in. I think the goal that he let in game 4 was an easy one. He could have easily saved that. Unfortunately, he hasn't had a shutout this game or these playoffs yet, but I mean, massive improvement from past playoffs, I think, in my opinion. Last year, I wasn't a big fan of Jake Onger. He ended up getting pulled in multiple games in the playoffs last year. This year hasn't been pulled yet, except for one game, which was game 4, and that wasn't even his fault. That was actually probably one of his best performances was game 4 against Colorado when the Avalanche just was lighting him up, man, putting everything possible. The puck was coming in probably every 30 seconds in that period. They probably got almost 40 shots on net. That was an insane period, and he only let 2 in. That was an incredible performance. And that's the only time he's been pulled. It probably not deserved. It was just to give him some extra rest. Um, but I mean, he's making the big saves that you need. He was helping out in game 1 against Winnipeg. Made a lot of clutch saves against Winnipeg in game 1. Made a lot of clutch saves against the Colorado Avalanche in game 7, and also in game 3 and game 4 when those games were tight against Winnipeg. Game 3 and 4 against Winnipeg. So I mean, you could see it also really helps that the Stars are 2-0 in overtime this year in the playoffs. That kind of shows to Jake Ottinger and also not allowing the Avalanche to have that 4-minute power play that they were going into in game 3 to score on that. So he's just coming up big over and over again, coming up big over and over again, making those big saves. And I mean, it's almost like a Stanley Cup caliber. Not I don't want to say almost. It is a Stanley Cup caliber goalie out there right now for the Dallas Stars. That's something that I wouldn't have probably said last year, but I'm gonna say it this year. He's improved a lot. He's got
And
my confidence.
you look at this team that's going to have to try to clinch this one tonight at 8:30 back in Winnipeg for Game 5. Winnipeg trying to stay alive back at the Center Life Center, I believe it's called. Is that their stadium? Center
Center
Life
Life
Center?
Center, yeah. Centre is how we would say
Centre.
it.
Excuse me.
It's
I'm
just
sorry,
funny.
I'm sorry, Canadians. I didn't mean to mess that up. But they were chanting U.S. backup at him. Trying to get under his skin, make him uncomfortable. And so far, he's the winning goalie against the great Connor Hellebuck. Even though he's probably going to win the Brazilian Trophy, as you were talking about again, and had that great performance in the face-off. But
Or
how do
maybe
you
this series
think?
gives US more confidence to make Jake Ottinger the starter in the Olympics next year. But you
Yeah,
got to
for
finish the
sure.
series out first. Still very, very worried. There's only been one player who's scored in Winnipeg in the first 2 games, and that was Mikko Rantanen. So, gonna need some more players to score in Winnipeg.
Yeah, for sure. And both series right now in the West at 3-1. Edmonton leading 3-1 against the Vegas Golden Knights. Not sure who you want yet as the victor of that series, TJ, but
Oh,
I
I
don't think
know
it
who
really
I
even
want.
matters.
I
You
know
got
who
to
I want.
beat one of them. So,
Yeah, they both
anyways,
look. In my opinion, they both look a lot better. But I don't want to say that. I mean, again, we were talking about this at the start of the playoff run. These Stars are the Rangers, all right. They might not look like the better team. They might have came into the postseason looking really bad, but they're gonna win it, man. They're gonna win it. I got confidence, man.
at this point, it just has to be their year, man. This
Who do
playoff
you?
run has been special already with the hat tricks, but
Who
go
would
ahead.
you rather play, the Oilers or Knights?
I can't do a Connor McDavid playoff series again, so I would rather play the Vegas Golden Knights personally. I
I
can't do
want to
it
see
again.
the Knights so we can enact revenge on Mark Stone for ruining Miro Haskinen's season and diving into his knee. I could see why some people say that it's Rupe Hentz's fault, but
Whew.
Mark Stone, completely non-hockey move by him, acting like he got tripped that badly. Come on. Come on. You did that shit on purpose.
Come on, man.
I need Vegas to win that series, but we know that
They
Oilers look
won't.
so good this postseason. They've had one hell of a postseason run so far.
Yeah.
Every single game I've watched with the Oilers have been cinema. So
Yeah. Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers leading 3-1, trying to close it out and head back to the Western Conference Finals. And the Stars trying to do the same tonight at 8:30 in Winnipeg while the Jets are trying to stay alive and not be a number one seed that's getting bounced out of the postseason. Moving on in our show, we're going to talk about the NBA draft lottery that has come with plenty of controversy, accusations of it being rigged from Adam Silver and co. The Dallas Mavericks jump up, TJ. They finally jumped up in the draft lottery for the first time in franchise history from number 11 all the way to the number one overall pick in the NBA draft. Can you believe it? I can't believe it to this day. Like,
I
what did we
believe it
watch, man?
because it was rigged.
How insane, by the way, that as soon as I saw this, I was thinking, like, what if Nico Harrison did it again? What if he just found a way to trade this pick off for Giannis? And then I got some closure today with Tim McMahon's report, or I think it was yesterday actually, of the Mavs being bought in all the way with Cooper Flag. So I don't think we have to worry about this for now, but I did not expect to see what we saw in the draft lottery.
I know we've all had a crazy twist of events, and now all the Mavs fans kind of love Tim McMahon, but his source came from Patrick Dumont, right? So I mean, it's not like Dumont's a very truthful guy, anyway. So
Isn't it crazy though, like how Tim McMahon was just the most hated journalist? I swear, like pre-Luka trade
oh
because of
yeah,
like what it seemed like were hit pieces against
and
Luka,
after, way
and
after,
after now, all the the accusations of him, being an alcoholic, a drunk, basically, a Pillsbury Doughboy. They keep calling him. It seems like, and all of a sudden he's getting a little bit more love
he's got
because
his
of how
redemption
he's
arc
put
now.
this organization on blast. Nico Harrison, Patrick Demont, and of course Rick Welts as well. But seeing Nico Harrison's reaction, that is one lucky man. That is one lucky dude. If it's, of course, not rigged. If it's not rigged, they say. But that's a lucky man whose life it seemed like was being threatened after the Luka trade.
Yeah, I mean, I love that video because it does seem like he really give him an Oscar if it's all rigged. I mean, because I'm still kind of believing it. I want to go back to the first thing you said, which was we have not moved up in the lottery in its entire history. Every single time we've been in the lottery, we have never moved up. We have either stayed at our place or moved down the draft. And for that to happen, I was so disengaged. I'm so disengaged with the Mavericks, as a lot of people are, that I didn't even know the lottery was happening until you sent that text in the TSTV group chat saying, can't wait to watch the Mavs get the number one pick. And then in parentheses, you said, we know that's not happening.
I didn't know it from Goose until Goose told me earlier in the day, believe it or not. So it was just a chain, basically. I didn't care about the lottery, bro. I knew like nothing was gonna really happen for the Mavs until I'm walking on Speedway and I'm like, you know what? Let me just peek in and see what's happening. Oh wait, these dudes got the top four picks. These dudes
Yeah.
actually moved up. And then when I saw that Spurs sign, bro, for number two, people probably
Uh,
thought I was crazy walking on the way to the gym, just the way I jumped in the air. Like it was insane. There's no way we actually witnessed that in real time.
well, yeah,
The
you were the
rigged
reason why.
accusations, man. Yeah.
You're the reason why I witnessed it in real time.
Come on, man.
I was
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I turned on the TV and I had already seen it. It was just like right when they put the graphic of the Mavs were in the top four, and I'm like, oh my gosh, man, they're gonna do this. Oh, dude, the Mavs and Spurs being top two, it's literally the best outcome that the Mavs or the NBA could get. You either get Cooper Flag with the Wimby duo, or you either get him to a franchise that is almost on the verge of extinction. because they can't even because they can't say the right thing and they traded their generational superstar. Oh man. It seems rigged. We've all seen the video. I don't know. No, I shouldn't say that. I've seen the video where they've explained it and they actually show the actual
Oh yeah.
process of the lottery and it looks like they didn't rig it, obviously.
Which,
But
by the way, that video, I don't think it fully like explains that it couldn't be rigged. Just saying. I don't think it does. Like they say, they make it look like, like this is the process, like you were saying, but there's a way to like make it still rigged, even if you're showing that process. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm happy with the pick. I'm not mad.
also, I
But
think the like the Jazz, Wizards, and like all those teams, man, feel so bad for them.
the Wizards,
That was the
what, like,
biggest jump in NBA draft lottery history, right?
well, they had the fourth best odds, I believe, worst odds all time to get the first pick. 1.8% to get the first overall pick. Somehow did it. The Wizards had 64 losses and didn't even get in the top five, bro. It's brutal. I feel bad for those teams. But it's only somehow been 3 months for Mavs fans.
It's a little
From
extreme, but this is what keeps the ratings up, you know?
it is. It is, without a doubt.
And I guess you could say that Dallas does have the fourth biggest market, fourth biggest TV market in the nation. You can't have the Mavs. You can't have the Mavs go
To
on
Vegas,
like
no.
they were going to. Kyrie Irving hurt till January. Look, it's really tough, man. It's really tough to say that it's not rigged because it's all lining up. All right.
Yeah.
I'm put my tinfoil hat on. It's all lining up.
I mean, come on, bro. Like nobody's ever seen anything like this. I saw a funny tweet though last night that this is so egregious that nobody was even, questioning how the Hawks moved up to like number one last year from like pick nine.
Hmm.
I mean, but like this is insane. Like after a controversial trade that nobody saw coming, that people are still reeling from, moving from 11 to 1. And by the way, the tweets about the Josh Giddey shot, I don't know if you've seen that and how like that coin flip between the
I was
Bulls.
gonna bring that up actually.
Oh my
I think about
goodness.
that a lot. The Josh Giddey half court
Whew.
shot on the Lakers,
Oh my
giving us
goodness.
Cooper Flag.
Oh, I know they're sick. Oh man. That is brutal, man.
But
The
I've said
coin
this on.
flip giving the Mavs a lottery pick, moving in to number one. Any last thoughts before we move on?
Um, I think that the Mavs are still worse off than they were a couple months ago, when they had Luka Doncic. I think the people who've said that the Mavs are better now are idiotic to say that. The Mavs had NBA Finals team. We've never seen Cooper Flag even play a minute in the NBA if that's what the Mavs decide to do, which they should. And you're still going to have a very injured Anthony Davis. You're still going to have a very old and not injured, but old Klay Thompson, and you're not going to have Kyrie Irving till potentially 80% of the season. I don't see how this team is better. You also still don't have any point guard. I know that there's a lot of teams that or players that they're monitoring, like Drew Holiday, Marcus Smart. I get those, but
Dennis
those aren't going
Schroeder.
to move the needle. Dennis Schroeder, definitely not going to move the needle. Um, so I don't know. I mean, hey, you would I think this question is so funny because obviously the Lakers would never do this, but if you had a chance, would you trade this first round pick and 80 back to the Lakers for Luca?
Oh no, probably not. No. I love Luca, but I don't know if you can do that.
I think
Your
I would.
team,
I think I
number
would.
one pick and trade it away for like, there's no way
You'd
they'd
still
even
get
take
Max
that.
Christie, man.
I don't even know, like, yeah, you do get Max Christie, the phenom, of course, Max Christie. But yeah, like, it's a good question to have because
Also,
would
that's
he
what I
do?
want
Would
to
he
know
do work
about.
with Palinka again like that? I don't know. After such
No,
a
I know. I
trade,
wouldn't trust the Mavs talking to the Lakers. That's why I also don't want Daniel Gafford to get traded to the Lakers. I get that Gafford's probably going to get moved,
hmm
but don't give him to the Lakers. I mean, that would just be so absolutely. I would lose it. I would lose it again. But I mean, going back to Giannis though, going back to the Giannis rumors or KD rumors, how the hell are they going to trade for these people even with the first overall pick? They do not have the assets to
right?
get Giannis
Yeah, they
unless they
don't.
want to trade like Anthony Davis. Then what the hell are we doing trading Anthony
Yeah,
Davis? Because contracts. I'm sure that Giannis and um, KD are both on super maxes. We don't
I
have that kind of. Who's on a high contract that we could just throw in the trade? I don't know.
no, there's nobody, bro. They have no like future picks, right? As it
Yeah,
stands, like,
basically no future picks either. They have the Lakers 2029 first round pick.
oh my Lord, man, this team is something else. I will say though, as far as it comes with Cooper Flag, I haven't always been the biggest like believer in him. I will say there's potential. He's 18 years old, has a really decent vertical, can play great defense as well. National Play of the Year from Duke. My thing that I like that makes me hopeful for him as a Maverick is that he'll be with veterans on the team, with AD, with Kyrie. I don't know if I'd be as much like of a believer of him as he went if he went to like the Hornets, the Wizards. Maybe this is an obvious point. If he went to like these trash teams, but I think that he can be a really solid player now that he's with this surrounded with a great, supporting cast, with a future Hall of Famer, two future Hall of Famers, that is. And Klay Thompson, of course, may make that number three, I guess, for Hall of Famers. But when you have that kind of, balance in your team, it can make him at least a little bit better and set him up to be the future face of the team. Better than if he were to go like to the Hornets or Wizards, who I think would ruin his career. That's why I think I was like not the biggest supporter of him because I wasn't seeing like off the charts kind of stuff, even in this past college season. But I think that with him added on this team, he can do damage in the next 2, 3 years and beyond.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that this is such a magical moment for the Dallas Mavericks to finally get back up. I still think it's obviously fire Nico. And I think that it would have been hilarious if they decided to fire Nico right after they get the number one pick.
After you celebrating, oh yeah, that'd
I
be
mean, that would
hilarious.
that would be actually, I mean, right there, just cut the plug right there. Get it over with. We know that it should happen. He doesn't need any luck, man. He doesn't need the luck to keep his job. He should be just cut right now.
Oh
But
boy.
I do want to say this. I was thinking about this before, but and Mavs fans are gonna hate to say this, but the Mavs team that Nico Harrison has built is a lot reminiscent to the 2011 team, where you have a lot of former old veterans. You have Kyrie Irving as the veteran point guard. You have Klay Thompson as this veteran shooter. You have Anthony Davis, who, God forbid, Mavs fans aren't going to want me to compare Anthony Davis to Dirk Nowitzki, but they do have similar statistics over the years as power forwards. They can be a little bit comparable. Um, and so you have this kind of squad that is pretty reminiscent of the 2011 squad. PJ Washington's kind of like a Sean Marion. Derek Lively is literally getting trained by Tyson Chandler. He's not there yet. PJ Washington isn't Sean Marion yet, but you could see that there's kind of this similar vibe to the 2011 team, the one team to bring us a championship. But I still would like Luka back
And speaking of Dirk
over this
Nowitzki, I
thing.
don't know if you noticed, but not a single comment, by the way, on his Twitter. No tweet, no reply, nothing of celebration, no video. Mark Cuban was ecstatic, clearly. He
Hmm.
was still going crazy as a partial owner,
And
a
you see
minority
Luca
owner.
post too. Luca posted the
He
little,
did?
yeah, he posted like
Hmm.
that emoji, the
Oh
thinking
man.
emoji.
Oh
He's
boy.
thinking.
Wow. LeBron obviously going crazy as
He thinks
well.
he's the sacrifice, man.
I feel bad for I saw a tweet earlier also saying like, this guy spent so many years as a young Slovenian kid building this, team back up from, the depths of, NBA purgatory after,
First round exits.
a lot of struggle with not a great supporting cast. Eventually he's able to, rise up the top with Jalen Brunson, make a Western Conference Finals after beating the Phoenix Suns. And how does he get rewarded after making the finals? He gets shunned to a team that's probably not as good right now in the Lakers, that did not meet expectations with JJ Redick as their head coach. And now they're going to get the number one pick, the Dallas Mavericks. It's a cruel world, man. Brutal, brutal world for Luka
Brutal world.
Doncic. Very
But
sad.
I've said this on the podcast before. I will say it again that the Mavs aren't the Mavs without a generational white superstar. And I think that that was the best. I think that was one of the best tweets I've ever seen was
Oh
that
yeah.
guy who posted and said that tariffs were so high we had to go domestic for this one.
That's a that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good one. It's true though. How many times like I saw someone saying who's the last like number one overall pick to be a white American? And I don't think it's been someone in a long time, but Cooper Flag is definitely gonna break that streak. It was a guy I never heard of before, but it was back in like I think like the 80s or 90s. I couldn't tell you his
Interesting.
name right now,
Interesting.
but
Was
Cooper
it Mark
Flag is
Price?
definitely not Mark Price. No,
Yeah, no, definitely not Mark
it
Price.
was somebody else. I'm forgetting his name, but I never heard him before.
Yeah, because Larry Bird went after Magic, right? Magic was
Yeah,
number one.
he
So
wasn't even number one overall. Went to a small school, albeit Indiana State had the crazy
Indiana
run
State.
in the championship, and then lost to Michigan State and Magic Johnson.
Shout out Julian Larry, Indiana State legend right there. Also, Frisco Lone Star.
Frisco Lone Star, of course. We gotta let it be known. But moving on to the Texas Rangers before we get out of here. The Rangers have won two straight series. The Rangers have beaten the Detroit Tigers in an unexpected upset series after reeling the past 2 weeks. Brett Boone is the new hitting coach, as we discussed last week. And then the Rangers have also officially clinched the series against the Colorado Rockies, the worst team in the league, potentially the worst team in the history of baseball if we see how this goes the rest of the season. But so far, only 6 wins in this season the Colorado Rockies have. Somehow still have good attendance. Just got destroyed by the Padres, I think 19 or 21 to nothing just a few nights ago. Just putrid baseball in Colorado, and that got Buddy Black fired. And so the Rangers have now won two straight series. And Corey Seager, unfortunately, is hurt again, placed back on the 10-day IL. And the Rangers are winners of four straight, back to over 500 as we record this on a Wednesday evening. But we'll see how this goes. It should be a
Little
sweep
asterisk on
tonight
it.
as you're about to go watch this final game, TJ, in the
Probably.
series.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll see.
Wait, first of all, you got to feel, I don't know if you have to, but you kind of got to feel a little bit bad for Denver sports right now, man. Lose
At
game
least,
seven
yeah,
to Miko, your former player. They even won out. Gives you a
yeah.
historic performance. Now the Nuggets are down 3-2 against OKC. And the Rockies are just playing worse than the Chicago White Sox team last year almost.
I don't even know how that's possible. I really don't know how it's possible, man. I feel like teams have been getting extremely worse these past 2, 3 years because you saw
Maybe
the
they should
Astros
stop letting
teams.
everybody sign with the Dodgers.
I
Just
mean, you saw how bad the Astros were in the early 2010s, but this is like a whole different level these past 2 years, man. The White Sox and now the
A's.
Rockies. It's just, and you see the pressure mounting for these tireless fans, especially in Pittsburgh, um, with how they protested the Pirates owner and how like these guys don't try, man. It's so sad. And that's why you got to be grateful if you're a Rangers fan to have a guy like Ray Davis and Chris Young who made it an emphasis to at least give an effort. Of course, they're in a bigger market than those other teams, but at least try, bro. Give an effort, and that's the least your fans deserve.
Players flock to Arlington, Texas. They love Arlington.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Number one tourist destination
Yeah, for sure.
in all
I
of
love when
Texas.
people say, "Let's go to Dallas for vacation." My favorite thing I hear them say, "What do y'all do in Dallas? What's there to do?" Oh yeah, you can go to the Pro Museum. That's my favorite spot.
Yeah, the Pro Museum. Just, you just walk around, you know,
You just walk around. Just walk. You go visit AT&T Stadium
try some
right over there.
barbecue.
Try some barbecue. Yeah, but the
Gotta do that one.
Rangers got a big series coming up against the in-state rival, the Houston Astros, coming up a four-game series. Just massive right now for divisional standings. The AL West right now is looking very tight. The Mariners, as it stands, are number one, while it's being followed by the Astros and then the A's, and then the Rangers and the Angels, who I guess we all suspected to be last. Seems like as always, unfortunately for them in the Anaheim, fan base. But that's how it goes right now for the AL West, and the American League right now looks pretty weak, TJ.
Yeah, I mean, what the best team in the AL right now is just the Detroit Tigers record wise.
Yeah, record-wise, Detroit,
We just
they're
beat them
kind
in
of
a
surging right
series.
now. Sneaky good offense, by the way. Javi
Yeah, I
Baez
know.
looking very resurgent of his old self.
Just had a walk-off.
Yep.
Good for him,
Five.
man. I remember, man. I remember the Javi mania, man. When I went to like a Cubs Rangers game back in 2019. I think it was 2019. Wait,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was.
it was the last season we were at Globe Life Park, and
Hmm.
Yu Darvish was pitching for Chicago. That's why I went. And there was at least 50-50 split between Rangers and Cubs fans, and they were almost all of them were there for Javi Baez. It was like it got really loud in that stadium when he went up the bat. So shout out to him, man. Happy he's doing a little bit better. MLB The Show uh like I don't know. He was on the cover, so
El Mago, he was, bro.
1 point. Can't remember which
Interesting
one.
MLB The Show covers these past few years, especially with guys like Jazz Chisholm,
Oh yeah.
uh, the Yankee. But closing out this show real quick, the Cowboys leaked schedule, as we said before, they will play the Philadelphia Eagles on NFL kickoff Thursday, the first game of the NFL season in 2025. And also news came out that they'll play the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving. As always, the Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving, but usually against the Giants or Washington as of late. This time, this is a massive Thanksgiving game. Not gonna be able to eat in peace, really. But the Kansas City Chiefs are coming to Jerry World to play against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and then also the Washington Commanders will be playing the Dallas Cowboys on the Christmas noon game. So quite the news coming in for Brian Schottenheimer's Dallas Cowboys. In his first season, he's got his hands full for sure.
Yeah, and the great point, the Goose, he was probably saying that there's a good chance that the Mavs and Lakers play on Christmas Day too. So instead of just
Boy,
having a heartbreaking Cowboys loss on Christmas Day when everybody's supposed to have the most jolliest day of the year, we're probably gonna get Jaden Daniels beating us and then Luca beating us too. Maybe.
Merry Christmas, I guess.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Dallas.
Wow, man. Wow.
Don't turn on the TV this year.
By the way, Washington's
Probably be
getting
on
eight.
Netflix.
It is going to be on Netflix. Washington is going to get eight primetime games, by the way. After their best season in 25 years, they're getting eight primetime games.
I
I
don't think
guess
we
Rush
talk
could
about it enough real quick. Sorry. Sorry. What were you
go
gonna
ahead.
say?
No, go ahead. I have nothing
I
else.
was gonna say that Dan Quinn sabotaged us against Green Bay. Like, there's no way that he did not sabotage us. Put Micah
And
Parsons in the coverage after not doing that the entire year. Started playing zone all of a sudden. There had to be something going on.
we got ourselves another Black Sox scandal. Dan Quinn is
I'm
Dan
saying,
Quinn is
man.
the culprit.
I'm saying, don't sue me for defamation. But I mean, it is like I feel like he completely sabotaged us for us to have that big of a collapse and then him to go to Washington and be another successful head coach.
And taking a few of our
Does it
players and coaches in the
just
process, too.
again, 10 yeah, 10 foil hat. 10 foil hat is fully on for this one, man. He sabotaged us for that Green Bay game.
The reason we've heard since that was that Stephon Gilmore's a little bit banged up. And so they had to work around that. That's what they were trying to say about it. But still, man, that zone scheme was garbage. Was trash.
It was awful.
Touchdown after touchdown, no stops at all. You knew how it was going after that first series,
Made
man.
Jordan Love look like Tom Brady.
Like I was
Just
telling you
proud.
during that game we were watching together, you know how Cowboys games go, just based off the first drive. Just the first drive, the way they marched down the field, man.
That game got Jordan Love paid.
Oh
And
yeah, got
yeah,
him
we
paid.
we do talk about that too. We're like, you can literally tell if the Cowboys are going to lose just based off the first drive of the game. You could tell.
Brutal, brutal. If they convert on third down for a big gain, oh yeah, ball game.
Yep.
Second night.
Yep. Yeah, third roughing the punter or whatever the hell they did. What did
Dude,
they
come
do?
on,
They did
man.
some
They
crazy
did some
bull,
crazy stuff, man.
crazy BS
Insanity.
in those first couple drives against Green Bay. It's like this
Man.
is over. We're like, come
My
on.
God. Well, that'll do it for episode 67, the Jacob Latz episode of the 214 Sports Show. Please like this video on YouTube and also on Spotify if you're listening there. We do post these on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Every single week. That might be changing coming soon based off our summer schedules. But this is episode 67. Please follow on Twitter and then also Instagram and TikTok at the 214 Sports Show. Again, that's Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at the 214 Sports Show, where we also post clips and plenty of reels of our content and plenty of fun content as well as what happened in the past in DFW sports as we've seen recently, especially in hockey season. So, TJ, without further ado, do you want to give your socials?
Absolutely, Joseph. You can follow me on Twitter /X at TJ underscore Krillowitz, and then you can follow me on Instagram at TJ.Krillowitz.
And for me, you can follow me at Joseph underscore Duffy 99 on Instagram, and also it's the same on Twitter. And then on TikTok, you can follow me at Joe underscore Duffy. Again, please like this video on YouTube. We post this weekly. Plenty of content also on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And that'll do it for this episode 67. Thank you for joining us. For TJ Krulowitz, I'm Joseph Duffy. We'll see you next week.